Okay, welcome to the Life in Transitions YouTube channel. This is Courtney Rollins, your host of the State Pro Service. I'm also the founder and operator, just making sure that I am actually live in all the places to be. We are live on Facebook, we're live on Instagram, we're live on the YouTube channel. So check us out at the Life in Transitions Experts YouTube channel or Facebook group. This platform really designed to help people make the probate and estate planning process easier, all while making money and income and wealth through real estate. I am one of my hats I wear is a real estate investor, wholesaler, and one of the ways I find properties at a discount is by uh, looking in the probate space. And quite often, there's property involved in estates when someone passes away. And quite often, the folks who are heirs or responsible for the estate will decide to sell it so they can either pay some of the debt or unlock some of the inheritance. And there are times when folks want to keep the property, and I'm able to help them come up with options and solutions that hopefully work best for them. Now, I'm not an attorney or a financial advisor. I am just sharing my experience as a real estate investor and as a person who cares and likes to do things that give value to folks and allows me to support my dreams and my family as well. Today we're going to pull the veil back. Today I'm actually talking about the things or the checklist or things that I try to do when I'm actually negotiating with sellers. And so, if you are here as a personal representative or executor, and this is the things I try to check for myself when I'm talking to someone like you. If you are someone that was like me, who's wondering, or you're thinking about getting into this, or maybe you're just sharpening your skills in this um, title, or just attracts you for whatever reason, hopefully, this will help reiterate some things or underscore some things that you're already doing really well. Maybe give you some advice, or even look at it and say, "Hey, this is not something that I would do," and help you refine and understand better how you have conversations. Because at the end of the day, it's all about we really are in the marketing and sales and marketing space. Regardless of how great a product you have or great a service you have, if you can't communicate that with folks, it's not going to come through. Regardless of how awesome these inventions and things are, it doesn't support or help the world unless people are actually invested in that, and that is where sales is so important. So this is, at the end of the day, a sales and marketing place. Um, so that's where I try to sharpen my skills in those areas so that I can better serve. So let's take a look, okay? Well, first thing, probate again is the legal process of selling the affairs of an estate of a deceased party. Now, I want to also say that this is not just for probate, however. This is when I'm talking to any property owner, these are the things that I try to do. And I also have to give a shout out. I really am a nerd when it comes to studying and learning, and there's so many spaces outside of these four books that I pull from. Whether it's of course Brent Daniels and Talk to People work over at Wholesaling Inc. They're awesome. Whether it's uh, really the role plays, the practice that I do every Monday through Friday with my teammates Dan and those guys are just amazing people that help me sharpen skills. And hopefully, I help them sharpen skills. And I want to just emphasize really four books that much of this work is coming from, and it's themes across different places. But from starting from left to right, Start with No by Jim Camp is an awesome tool, awesome book that people have drawn a lot from when it comes to negotiating, and it really helps explain why win-win is ineffective. And that doesn't mean that I don't go for win-win situations. Um, it just means that I can't come in completely trying to compromise everything, which ends up all, quite often making no one really win in a situation. And also Chris Voss, Never Split the Difference, very famous book in this real estate and negotiation and just sales negotiation world that helps people understand how the psychology um, behind negotiations and how you can better position yourself to serve folks and to hopefully get the bottom line done. Also, David Sandler, classic. Also, you can't teach a kid to read a bike at the seminar. I really like the system and the process it uses to help me have a clear way I'm trying to go from A to Z, and understanding that a sales process is exactly what you need to have um, to be able to be effective and not just be shooting from your hips. And then I really appreciate Phil. Jones exactly what to say. There's just awesome words and content that's used. He has some other books out there that's specific to real estate, and I just really appreciate this human psychology. And it's not so that I can manipulate. It's again so I can be a stronger communicator. If I can't communicate or I can't connect, then it's and if you're able to do that, it's going to be very hard for you to be able to uh, to share the value or to hear the story or to hear how you may be able to share the value with folks by helping them create that vision. All right, so let's start with one. Number one is I try to have the mission and purpose clear and written down in the prospects world. This is straight from Jim Kemp. In other words, every time I get on the call with someone, I try to, in my notes right here, jot down what I'm talking about. And I can't write down to get the property under contract or to get a price that I want. No, it has to be in the prospects world. So it could be my job here is to help them see the value that Estate Pro Service provides. To them and help to make their whatever easier. And this really helps the more I do follow up with someone as I take good notes and I'm talking to and speaking with sellers. That follow up conversation helps me have a clear understanding and picture and mission. And this allows me to stay on mission. So if I start having conversations, start doing things that's off mission, I can say, okay, that's not inside my mission. If that's not what this is aligned to, and it's not. And as long as I put it in the prospects world, then hopefully I'm doing it in a way that's bringing value to them. All right. So having a clear mission and purpose is so important whether you're having a conversation with your wife or spouse about your vacation spot you want to go to, negotiating with your kids, negotiating with your boss about salary, negotiating with your students about doing the homework, or me negotiating with sellers about their situation. I must put it in their world and have a clear mission and purpose to help direct everything. Also, demonstrate when I first talk to someone. Oh, these are in no particular order. I got to have a solid opening. People are getting bombarded or have been bombarded with sales calls and conversations where it just becomes automatic for them to respond in a way that may not be good for you if you're trying to have that continue that conversation. Like when you walk into the mall or some clothing store and someone asks, "May I help you?" And you're like, "No, I'm good," or well, you might be good, but um, what I'm trying to say is I have to be able to disrupt the pattern so that I can. Those first 2 or 3 seconds buys me the next 2 or 3 seconds, and the main way that I do that is I try to mirror how the seller says hello to me. There's something subconscious about hearing the same words back and the same tone, and we'll talk about that in a few moments. But that it helps, like at least engender some type of familiarity, and I try not to sound salesman-y when I speak. And I may just, hey, Mr. John, I know this call's out of the blue. That's one of the famous things that we'll say. And until many other wholesalers and real estate investors are calling and using that phrase, that works pretty well for me. But whatever it is, I know some people say, "How you doing?" Or some people even say, "Hello." Kind of help you when the person answers. So it's like, what? Who, you called me and all, but it's just really a way to disrupt, to get the attention, and to be able to at least present what I'm trying to share, so that I can see if there's some opportunity to work together. Provide opportunity for the prospect to say no. And gave. Oh, I think this is written in past tense because I directly took this from my checklist. So this is when I on Saturdays I listened some of my calls and I asked, did I do that on that call? Did I do that on the call? So provide opportunity for a prospect to say no and give them a sense of autonomy. Because so I'm always, hey, I'm not sure this will work for you. Please let me know if it doesn't work. We don't need, no longer need to, keep the conversation going. If so, or sometimes I'll ask, hey, I'll say it sounds like I caught you at a bad time, as opposed to is this a good time? I'll say it sounds like I caught you at a bad time. Is this a bad time? Really, give them a chance to say no. If they want to say yes, it's a bad time, or no, it's not. Um, they know that this is not a salesman pushy. You have the right to stop the conversation whenever you want, and that relieves some of the pressure and it allows folks to let down some of their guard, really, so that we can really get down to what's going on. And if they really don't want to talk, then it saves me time and them time as well. All right, so that's awesome. This is one I really have to watch. I speak so fast. I'm just such an excitable, just have that disposition that I really need to slow down. And Chris Voss talks about that tone. And one of my coaches, she's always saying, "Hey, Courtney, don't end your sentence in an uptick. end it in a downtick. It's going to be more soothing on the ears. It doesn't create a subconscious sense of anxiety where the person's like, "What's going on here?" And um, matching the tone of the person. If they are an upbeat, talkative person like I am, then I can match that, but I still want to have that timbre. I think that's the right word. That's kind of soothing and not as jarring as sometimes somebody who does talk very quickly can be. So it's not saying don't speak fast because again, you might match someone's tone who does speak quickly, but I do need to be able to communicate. And quite often, when I'm speaking slowly, I'm speaking more smoothly, and it allows me to communicate more effectively. Yeah. Blank slate. I love this one. No assumptions. Tabla rasa. So don't assume, hey, this person will never take this, or this person is thinking that, or every conversation, even when I follow up, I need to make sure that I'm not making assumptions. This allows me to really be more inquisitive, curious, and ask questions. I don't want to assume that they know certain thing or that they will accept certain things. So many real estate investors or wholesalers are afraid to even talk about a price that's a discount or terms that are maybe favorable because they assume the person may say no or this or that, but you don't know until you ask. And blank slating, having no assumptions is helpful. It also helps you, again, be curious and ask good questions so that you can get to the root of what the issue is. Because what you're really trying to do is help them create the vision. They have the autonomy, they have your blank slating, and with some of the other things we're going to look at, you really help them paint the vision of what they need, and then hopefully you can see if you're that person who can fit, or you can somehow be a part of that journey and fit that, help them create, make that vision a reality. And one of the things of doing that is by setting the agenda, the expectations. Let people know the rules of the game. Hey, this conversation, I'm going to ask you questions about the property. I'm going to see what the condition is, market value, your situation, and I'll try to get an offer to you. I may need to come out there, take some pictures, and do a tour, and we'll talk more then. Or hey, I'm here just to talk to you about what the attorney said, and we'll talk about 2 or 3 minutes, and then if you're there. But regardless, people in all aspects really have a better opportunity to be effective if they have a clear understanding what the boundaries, the rules are. So set the agenda, set the expectations all the time is so important. Or even have them help set it. What do you expect from this conversation? You can help them co-create the expectations, but as long as they're created, we know what the rules are. It's going to make the communication more effective. Do not demonstrate neediness. You do not need this deal. Now I know that you may want the deal. You may want to be able to help, but you can't demonstrate. You can't have deal breath where you're like, hey, I need this deal. And sometimes neediness is talking too much. Neediness is leaving long messages to show how awesome you are, or this or that, or how intelligent you are. Neediness sometimes is using jargon to show that hey, I'm competent. Really to be able to understand that they will get the support they need. The deals for you will come. Deals for them, the opportunities for you are there. So don't demonstrate neediness by over offering, um, offering too high when you know that you're not going to be able to fulfill that deal is another way of demonstrating neediness. But remember that the more you're marketing, the more you're talking to people, the more you're trying to truly give value from the heart, everything's going to work out. So don't demonstrate neediness. It really chips away at even the trust they have for you because they're like, oh, this person they're just doing whatever they can do to get this contract, get this deal. Can I really trust them? They, I just said they just offered $100,000. I said 250,000, and they're like, hey, we'll come up there. Like, what happened there? Or they said they'll match any offer. That's demonstrates neediness. But all right, I belabored the point. But this is also a great one. Interrogative questions, asking it like a reporter, clear questions, one question at a time, and it has to be a question that helps the prospect create the vision. Quite often, that vision is going to come from the pain or desire they have. People either move towards desire or move away from pain. Those are like two very big motivators. Some say the only motivators, right? But why, what, who, when. And what's also important about these is that you'll notice that most of these questions are, when they're framed properly, are open-ended, but also not just open-ended, but interrogative. And if they're done in a nice tone, and if they're done in a matching way, and if they're done in a way that's set helps them create the vision, then it'll unveil a lot of information that again allows that vision to be painted on that blank slate, and then allows you to hopefully be a part of that vision or help them turn into a reality. So open-ended interrogative questions are so important in life in general, but particularly when you're helping someone create a vision. Oh, I love this one. Make sure the prospect's more okay to you. Then again, they talk about that old school. I think he's early 80s. I know I saw the syndication reruns. Columbo. He always was like, he looks disheveled right there. He always acted a little bit like he wasn't the most, I don't know, say intelligent, but all put together person. But he always had, one more thing, one more question after he's had a conversation with a particular suspect and they've let down their guard, and then that's where he's able to get that key information that allows him to put together the case. Um, and one of the reasons is because he's so unassuming. And so again, this goes back to not just demonstrating neediness. You don't need to be to try to show that you're the smartest person in the space. In fact, you show that humanity, um, then you're it's that helps them connect more. This doesn't mean to be unprofessional. This doesn't mean to be, not demonstrating any competency at all. But it does mean that you don't have to out argue anyone. That's really the most, to me, the terrible thing to do. Arguing with a prospect. I mean, no one wins in that situation. Even if you do win, you're not going to engender quite often a sense of good feeling and cooperation. Um, but being able to have some humility and demonstrate humanity is so important for them to be able to connect with you. And the person who needs to feel okay, the most okay, is the prospect always. All right, cool, cool, cool. Pull a strip line sort of similar to that. So in other words, you don't even when you have somebody who's super ready to go, super ready to move with you. Quite often, one of the better things you can do is pull them back a little bit with like, hey, I know you really want this. Someone says they want to sell right now. They're ready to move forward. What can you do? He's like, hey, well, I'm not, instead of, sure, I can do that, I can buy it, and blah, blah, blah. He's like, well, let's take a step back. I'm not sure if I'm the actual buyer for you. Well, what's going on here? And since the idea is that you don't want to make people be too high in one space of emotions or positive or negative, depending on where you are. Sort of like when you're fishing and certain types of fish, when they catch the hook, instead of trying to reel them in too quickly, that could snap the line. You actually want to let go a little bit. Sort of like that concept that says a lot when you're chasing a dog, the dog's going to take off. But if you run away, the dog's going to chase after you. And so it's just a way of making sure people feel psychologically um, at ease and not too extreme that allows for more effective, again, communication and more effective decision making. So my job is to really help people make decisions. If I'm asking questions in the proper way, guiding them in the proper way, it's helping them make a decision. Whether the decision is to work with me or not, it's still helping them, again, paint that vision and make a decision. So it goes back to not being too needy as well. That's something I try to check for. I also, all these are me trying to help the prospect verbalize their pain and desires. If they don't know their pain, they don't know their desires, then they don't have a vision. And without a vision, a nation perishes. Without a vision, there's really nothing to move forward. Anything that you usually see something before you actually do that. I can see myself doing this. I can see myself in this situation. I can see myself working with you. So being able to do that quite often helps them, helping them realize, oh my gosh, this tenant is taking too long, or oh my gosh, this probate is just so frustrating. I'm not sure what to do, and goes to the next one. How this is helping them understand the impact. This is messing with my relationship with my children. This is taking time off work for me. This is really causing pain, and whatever the situation is, helping them understand the impact, making meaning is one of the things I try to do to check for to help the prospect get to a good decision. All right. Oh, set pre-commitments and have a clear next step. This is usually for the very end. Every conversation needs to end with okay. There we always have homework. Either you're gonna when I get off, I'm gonna call my ex-wife, or when I get off, I'm gonna check with my attorney, or when I get off, I'm going to think about it. Whatever it is, hopefully don't. I don't like when they say I'm thinking about it. Hopefully I've set enough. They've set enough vision that they can make a decision, yes or no, or feel comfortable telling me no. But regardless, some pre-commitment, and then let them know, okay, here's the next step. Next step is I have the contract. I'm going to send it over to the closing attorney. They should be giving you a call within the next day or two to get this information for you. Again, it's sort of similar to setting the agenda and expectations, but getting some pre-commitments and next steps helps you guys move forward, and you're already working shoulder to shoulder together, so you all can get this thing done. All right. So if you need any support, or I would love to be a part of your journey and see what's going on, or maybe we could just help each other out and get better at having conversation with folks and being able to, serve. If you want a copy of the checklist that I use, and I literally have this jotted down, I can feel free to email me, calendly.com, Estate Pro Service, or Courtney at estateproservice.com. We can hop on the phone and let me show you how I have this set up. Let's see. Will it let me? Stop sharing. And if I present, share screen, I just want to show you that how I have this set up. I think that one will work. Boom, boom, shake, shake the room. Oh, cool, cool, cool. Yeah. Yeah, so I'll put the date, the prospect's name, I'll write the mission and purpose out, and then these are the things I'm checking for that I'm doing. And then if I'm checking on my call, I'll give myself a scale. One, five, I did a great job. One, I need some improvement, and I'll put my notes in there. I'm trying to find a better way to do this. I guess the digital way is awesome, but I wish there was a way I could just not have to erase it every time or copy and paste and do it for each one. Where it's like I don't know the phrase I'm looking for. But regardless, I want to show you that's what I do. And if you want a copy of what I have so you can change it for yourself or whatever, that reach out. Love to like, would love to subscribe. Hope this was helpful for you. This is Courtney Rollins, Life and Transitions Experts, LITE. Let your light shine. Cheers.